To welcome everyone to the Town of Conception Bay South Public Council meeting for February 18th. And we'll start this meeting as we do with all of our meetings with the land acknowledgement. The Town of Conception Bay South would like to respectfully acknowledge the territory in which we gather as the ancestral homelands of the Beothuk, and the island of Newfoundland as the ancestral homelands of the Mi'kmaq and Beothuk. We also respectfully acknowledge Labrador as the traditional ancestral homelands of the Innu of Nitassinan, the Inuit of Nunatsiavut, and the Inuit of Nunatuavut. We strive for respectful partnerships with all the peoples of the province as we search for collective healing and true reconciliation, and we honor this beautiful land together. Next up, we have adoption of the meeting agenda. Could I have somebody move tonight's agenda? Councillor Hardy moved it, seconded by Councillor Butler. All in favor? Contrary minded? That is carried. Councillor Connors, you have not voted. There we go. Thank you. Next up, we have adoption of the meeting minutes from the past meeting of February 4th. Do we have someone moving that this evening? Councillor Barrett, seconded by Councillor Moores. Discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried. Next up this evening, we have proclamations, 3 of them in fact. So we're going to start with Councillor Hardy. I believe you have one for Scout Guide Week.
Yes, Your Worship. Proclamation Scout Guide Week. Whereas the Town of Conception Bay South recognizes the significant contribution of scouting and guiding organizations to the development of young people in our community, and whereas Scouts and Guides provide opportunities for personal growth, leadership, outdoor education, and community services of youth of all ages, backgrounds, and abilities. And whereas the values of scouting and guiding align with the town's commitment to fostering engaged, responsible, and compassionate citizens. And whereas February 17th to the 22nd, 2025 marks Scout Guide Week, a time to celebrate the enduring legacy of these programs and their positive impact on individuals and the community as a whole. I, Councillor Melissa Hardy, hereby proclaims February 17th to the 22nd as Scout Guide Week in the Town of Conception Bay South.
Thank you, Councillor Hardy. And do we have anyone from Scouts or Guides with us this evening in the back of the room? If you do, come on up, please. And we'll get a picture. Councillor Hardy, maybe bring up the proclamation and yep. All right, well, thank you very much. And I have to say a tremendous job that the Guides and Scouts and the organization, the volunteers involved do in our community. And we see some wonderful things through your Facebook posts, and we welcome your groups here to Town Hall for tours and a little bit of information about municipal government, that's for sure. And we thank you for all that you do, and a great round of applause now for the organizers and the people involved in these great organizations. Okay, next up we have a proclamation. Councillor Butler has Heritage Week, I believe.
Thank you, Your Worship. Heritage Day Week Proclamation 2025. Whereas the third Monday in February is recognized nationally as Heritage Day, and whereas Heritage Day and Heritage Week are a time to reflect on the achievements of past generations and to accept responsibility for protecting our heritage. And whereas our citizens should be encouraged to celebrate Newfoundland and Labrador's uniqueness and to rejoice in our heritage. And whereas in 2025, the residents of Newfoundland and Labrador will celebrate our rich and diverse heritage. Therefore, I, Christine Butler, Councillor, on behalf of the town of Conception Bay South, do hereby proclaim Monday, February 17th, 2025 as Heritage Day, and February 17th to 23rd, 2025 as Heritage Week, and call upon all citizens to celebrate the richness of our past and the promise of our future. And I also wanted to note that our town has a 4-part series of books, which is all about our heritage. They include The Battle of Foxtrap, A Place to Grow, The Kelligrew Surrey, and A Price Too Dear. These are available for purchase at the town, but are also free to read at the library. So you can have a fine read and learn all about the Battle of Foxtrap. Thank you, Worship.
I particularly like the part where they got the pitchforks and chased the railroaders out. So, great bit of history there. And of course, our history and culture is captured in our seal behind me here at Town Hall as well. Also this evening, it's my great pleasure to welcome members from our Kin Club. And I'm going to ask them to come on up here and join me as we do a proclamation for them. They're all dressed up in the Kin red. Yeah. Yep. Come on up here with me. You help, right up, yep. You help make me look better. Good. Balance out, yeah. There you go. Well, first of all, it's great to have you here. I'm going to do the proclamation now first. Kin Canada has been a vibrant and responsible, I'm sorry, I can't read it when it's through the light, so. Kin Canada has been a vibrant and responsible all-Canada service organization devoted to serving communities across Canada since 1920. And whereas Kin Canada clubs and their members have demonstrated excellence, pride, integrity, inclusiveness, and compassion in their pursuit of further enriching our community, whereas Kin Canada is celebrating its 105th anniversary on February 20th, 2025, I therefore, Darren Bent, Mayor of Town of Conception Bay South, feel that all members of our community would welcome the opportunity to celebrate our local club and Kin Canada's rich history in servicing the community's greatest need. With great honor, I do hereby declare Thursday, February 20th, Kin Canada Day, and declare that the week of February 16th through 22nd as Kin Canada Week, and as a celebration of all Kin Canada clubs. Further, I encourage all in our community to thank and congratulate our local Kin Canada Club members who give so generously of their time and talent for the betterment of our region. In witness thereof, I have unto set my hand and caused the seal of the Town of Conception Bay South to be affixed this 18th day of February 2025. And I'll happily sign that proclamation. There we go. And ask, who among you will speak tonight? Who have you voted for? Diane, it's your turn.
No, it's not my turn. Thank you very much, Mayor Bent, and we're all very proud to be here and in our community for 48 years now. And we want to thank the town for all their support, their continued support over the years, and also the residents of CBS. Thanks again, and God bless.
Okay. Well, thank you, Diane, and thank you all the members of the Kin Club. I think that almost anyone that's been to any event in our town over the past, well, you say 48 years, have been happy to see the Kin Club there and appreciate the service and the effort and the contribution you make to our town. And as far as I'm concerned, a Kin Club organizations like you is what makes the town of Conception Bay South stand out ahead and above all others in our province and our country. So thank you very much for all that you do for our community. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
He was supposed to do it.
I'm told that apparently somebody else was supposed to speak, and now there's a fine in the organization for that, so I'm sure that'll go to good use. Okay, next up on the agenda, new business, and we'll start with Councillor Tilley.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just want to give a shout out tonight to a young lady from Gallagher's who made, I guess, the national podium in a respective sport. Hannah Reynolds of Gallagher's. Her ultimate goal when she represented Newfoundland at the Canadian National Taekwondo Championships was to get on the medal podium. And I'm very, very proud to say today that she achieved that. She received a bronze medal for the female juniors in the under 55 kilograms. So congratulations going out to Hannah and the rest of the Newfoundland Labrador Taekwondo team. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley. Great accomplishment. Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship, something near and dear to my heart, but last week was Teacher Appreciation Week. Some fine people have been teachers. Your Worship, we've got 9 schools here in town, and with some 300 to 400 teachers, and they're working hard every day with our young people. I get to see them through some of my activities. I'm involved with the breakfast program at Villanova, so I see the teachers there. I see every now and then I get the opportunity to drop Faye off at Topsail Elementary. So I see how hard they're working in their respective schools. While I was thinking about doing this tonight, during this week, I met 4 of my former teachers. And to name them, they're Don Sparks, Bill Fagan, Cyril Boone, and Heber Best. And Your Worship, I'm not sure if I thanked them. So tonight I want to throw them in with the other 300 to 400 teachers throughout our town and thank all teachers, past and present, for all they do for our young people. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hillier. Councillor Morris.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. So I just want to send, I guess, a thank you out to all the recreation staff for Winterfest activities, another huge success, and to congratulate the Shield Hockey Tournament winners. Not the teams I were rooting for, but that's okay. Big shout out to Queen Elizabeth, who were the winners of both the Annie Parsons Female Tournament and the Fred Squires Male Tournament, and to the Frank Roberts Ravens, who won both the Akita Equipment Shields Male and Female divisions. I know the male and female high school, they won both their games in a row. The Villanova, or the junior high, did go to a 3rd game, but it was great to see, despite the winners and the losers, it was great to see so many people from our community and so many families out supporting the teams and see all the school spirit. So huge congrats to the winners, and of course, a congrats to the not winners also. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Morris. So I take some comfort in the fact that they did finish 2nd, right? You know. Okay, Councillor Hardy.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just want to do a big shout out to the recreation staff and all of the volunteers from the pancake breakfast. I think we hit over 1,000 people that we actually served Saturday morning. Lots of little kids coming up for their pancakes and waiting in line, please and thank yous. But there's a lot of work that goes into that. I arrived early that morning to help out the staff, and I even stayed a little bit late. To see what they put in to that event is mind-blowing. Everyone just shows up and you have a nice breakfast, and it's a nice hearty breakfast. It's a very big serving, but to see what happens in the backgrounds, kudos to all the staff and volunteers for that. So I appreciate that. Now, Mayor, if I could, I just want to take a moment and pass along some condolences to Matthew Eddy's family. We just talked about the proclamation for Scout Guide Week. Matthew and his family are big supporters of the Scouts, and he certainly had a courageous battle with his brain cancer, but recently passed away, and his celebration of life was today. It was a beautiful service. His wife is extremely strong, Sarah, and his son Dorian, and daughters Adeline and Mary. Beautiful family. But since he became a volunteer in the CBS Scouts, and even during his cancer treatment and his cancer battle, he actually stayed part of the Scouts as much as he could. And in December 2023, he was awarded the Award for Fortitude from Scouts Canada for his continued dedication through personal diversity. He never gave up, and his family, they're certainly going to continue to give back to the Scouts, first CBS Scouts group, and they actually starting a travel bursary program in Matthew's memory. So I just wanted to say my deepest condolences to Sarah and the kids, and just pass that along. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hardy. Councillor Barrett.
Thanks, Your Worship, and I also want to pass along my condolences. I was not aware of that, and I know it's hard for any family, but certainly with young kids and stuff like that, challenging. So my condolences to the Eddy family as well. I also wanted to, I'll be quick, but I want to just thank everybody for being involved in Winterfest this past week. We finished up this weekend. I think it was a really great success. We had a lot of a variety of events. Many of our ticket events were sold out or filled to capacity. And so I think it was a great time all around. We had, it's fitting, we have members of the King Club today. Many of those folks were volunteers throughout the week. And so I want to thank the volunteers and also our staff. I know our recreation supervisor, Natasha Hand, typically leads Winterfest, and she really did a great job this year, and all the other staff, Carla and everybody else. And so it was a great week. We had the snow, we had the weather for it, which is always nice. So that's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Barrett. Councillor Connors.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I just wanted to say that it was another successful Winterfest in the books, and our staff always do a great job. And then I sat down last night while I was watching the US get beat by Sweden, and I started to write down some of the names, or started to write up some of the names of volunteer groups that are involved with Winterfest. And I said, I'd like to acknowledge them and read out some of the names. So I started with the service clubs like the Kin Club and Lions Club and those different groups. Then I went to some businesses that were involved, and I got to over 30 names of different organizations that I know of, and I'm sure that I'm missing some. I'm not going to read them all out here tonight, but I just when I got up to that number, I said, this is amazing, the community support, what we have in our town, like the people that come forward and volunteer to make this a successful event. It's amazing, and it makes me proud, really, to be part of CBS, to know that all these events go off. And I know that some of them are led by staff, but the volunteers that are behind them making it happen is the big part. So I just want to throw a big thank you out to all those volunteers and all those organizations and all the businesses and all the different groups and everything that are involved in Winterfest that make it such a great event here in CBS. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Connors. Yeah, and one of the meetings I was at for Winterfest near the end, we talked about, I believe that people in economic development reached out to restaurants and so forth and asked them to offer up a Winterfest special, getting everybody involved in some way, shape or form, kind of helps with the community end of it. And I just want to note, I was one of 12 people in the -6 wind chill, topping -15 at the dog park on the weekend. I wasn't gonna go, but some counselors made me feel bad, so I took my dog down. And
Apparently, so did your dog make you feel bad?
she
so.
felt great down there. But you know what they had? They had treats from Boo Bakery to hand out, and great opportunities for the business community and the Winterfest and the town and all that to inter-promote and self-promote and to help each other along. And I think that was a great example. And I look forward to that sort of stuff being expanded for the soiree this summer. That we're already looking for committee members, I believe. Isn't there a posting out on that, guys? Yeah. So if you want to get involved in the summer soiree, then Kelligrew soiree. Sorry, Councillor Tilley, I slipped there. Kelligrew soiree, and that would be great. So I'm going to call upon Councillor Butler next.
Thank you, Your Worship. We're going around the chamber here and talking about Winterfest, so I got to add my few cents to put to it. And the kin are here in the house this evening, and they certainly helped out at the Family Fun Day, which was a great success. They were serving hot chocolate and hot dogs, and the staff and the Winterfest committee had toast and beans and bologna. My gosh, what a feed they had. I didn't think there was any bologna left after Saturday, but they must have found it somewhere. The Special Olympics Sunday. Well, myself and the mayor and the deputy mayor had a fine time doing karaoke. I'm not quite sure how well we did, but Sweet Carolina got a real beating. But we had a great time, and I know they had a great time, and it was so well worth it. What a crowd was there, and they just love it. They're playing the games and Connect Four, which the mayor beat me at, and, you know, that's fine. I let him win, actually. He laughs. So anyway, and the Valentine's dance, of course, the seniors' Valentine's dance, which you all know is one of my favorite things to be at, is the seniors' functions, and a full house again, and they just love it so much. And to all the volunteers that were there, thank you so much for all your help. In an hour, I think, we had them all served, and yeah, it was just another fine time. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Deputy Mayor Goss.
When you're last on the round, it all kind of gets said, so I'll be brief. Winterfest, another successful Winterfest on the books, and I too want to say thank you to our Winterfest committee and volunteer groups and our service organizations as well, because they are what helps us make it a huge success. And to our recreation staff, they're fantastic, and they just go above and beyond. I want to make mention of the Special Olympics Games Day at Worsley Park that we attended on Sunday. They have such a special group of volunteers. I got to speak to a lot of the volunteers and talk about their programming and whatnot, and got to play some games with some of the youth and the Special Olympics athletes, and talk about what they like to do and their organization and their sports and their crafts and games. Great group, and yes, we did get hauled in to do karaoke on the end of it. Heather wasn't going to let us out of the building without it, and she picked the song, so unfortunately, if you had to bear through that video, I'm sorry. And I just want to say congratulations to the Shield winners. Go Pioneers, go! I was really happy to hear the Pioneers won, but it's a long time tradition. The Shield games. They are. It's a lot of, brings a lot of spirit together, community spirit, and someone has to win. And so this year was Queen Elizabeth, and congratulations. But I love that years later, this is still ongoing, and it's such a well-attended and well-received and strong community event. And speaking about community, I just want to make mention about that Heritage book series. And the Battle of Foxtrap, well, when I was in junior high school, we did that play, the Battle of Foxtrap. So I have to go back and get that book now and just refresh my memory now on exactly, I know some of the details, but that wasn't yesterday. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you.
I hope that doesn't inspire you to arm yourself before you come to council and chase off all the ones you don't want. Just on the note of the karaoke, Councillor Butler shared the video on social media of the karaoke, and I just want to apologize to anybody that may have heard that, and we'll see if we can get it removed. But I don't have, she's got it blocked, I guess. Just want to move on to other committees, and I know that this was normally down near the bottom, but we brought it up in the front part for the new agenda. So I believe, Councillor Barrett, you have something this evening?
I do, yes. We had our Perks Commission meeting and AGM a couple of weeks ago. The date escapes me right now. I believe it was February 5th. So that was great preparing for the summer. I did want to mention that Mike Cisco has served his time as board chair, member of the Rotary Club, and he's a long-standing volunteer in the town, and he's stepping away from the Parks Commission. And I wanted to mention briefly part of the Rotary report he provided, something that I actually wasn't aware of, and maybe folks in here probably are, but part of the Rotary Club, they partner with the CBS Lions Club to host a wellness clinic the first Tuesday of each month at the CBS Lions Club from September to June. It has great uptake. There's apparently every month, there's 35 to 45 seniors. It's dedicated for seniors. And they have 4 volunteer nurses at every clinic. And so the next one is March 4th. So, and a lot of the time, folks just go there for certainly wellness checks, but the camaraderie and stuff like that. And so I did want to note some of the great work that the Rotary and CBS Lions Club are doing. A bit of a joint venture every Tuesday, the first Tuesday of every month, hosting a wellness clinic, and almost 50 people each month. So certainly, if you're in need of a wellness check, please keep that in mind at the CBS Lions Club. That's where it's held. The next one is March 4th at, I didn't even have the time here. I believe it's 7 o'clock. So please keep that in mind. But the meeting went well, and great to connect with our parks folks as usual.
Thank you, Councillor Barrett. Does anyone else have anything from any of the other committees that we're involved in? Okay, no, yeah, that sounds like a fantastic initiative, and something I believe that probably will be beneficial to a lot of people for uptake that may not know about it as well. So 2 great service groups there helping with that. So Deputy Mayor, you have the Finance and Administration this evening, I believe?
Yes, I do, Mayor Bent. All right, the Finance and Administration. First item, 6A, Human Resources, Public Works Supervisor, Water and Sewer. Be it so resolved that Mike Neary be appointed to the position of Public Works Supervisor, Water and Sewer, per the terms and conditions of the employment contract. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Morris, discussion?
Mike has been a longtime employee in the engineering department, and this is just a new position that he has applied and moving into. So congratulations to Mike.
Good. Anyone else? And I think we're waiting on a vote or two still. There we go.
Okay. 6B, Human Resources Administrative Assistant. Be it so resolved that Nancy Bishop be confirmed in the position of Administrative Assistant per the terms and conditions of the employment contract. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hardy, discussion?
Nancy has fulfilled her probation period and now is a permanent employee, and we congratulate Nancy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
6C, Human Resources Aquatic Supervisor. Be it so resolved that Regan Wiseman be confirmed as in the position of Aquatic Supervisor per the terms and conditions of the employment contract. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Butler, discussion?
And Regan, as well as has fulfilled the terms of her probation period and is now a permanent employee in her position as Aquatic Supervisor. And congratulations to Regan.
Yeah. Any further comments? It's great to get these positions filled. It's difficult to find people for all the jobs you want them to do, and people moving up within the organization is good to see, so.
For sure.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
6D, Fire Department Bylaw. Be it so resolved that the Fire Department Bylaw be adopted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Tilley, discussion?
Mayor, this is a new bylaw for the operation of the fire department that is required under the new Towns and Local Service Districts Act.
Any other comments? Is putting into words and out on paper practices and requirements of the, and duties, I guess, with regards to the fire department. And
Yep.
that's be available for public viewing, of course. And I see the vote is all in, so all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
6E is residential waste bylaw. Be it so resolved that the residential waste bylaw be adopted as presented, so moved.
Seconder. Councillor Connors, discussion.
This is under the new act, we've had to change some policies and regulations to bylaws. So this is a residential waste bylaw whereby, all the requirements for waste management within the community are outlined, whether, pertaining to carts, because when we had the old regulation, we didn't have waste carts. So it clearly defines types of bags, waste carts, what defines bulk garbage. Anything you need to know about residential waste is within this bylaw.
Any other comments? And a lot of this required under the new act, of course, is simply, in some cases, just switching from policy to bylaw.
Policy to
As is
bylaw,
required,
yeah.
so. And some of it is new and upgraded. And of course, it's, when you're doing these things, it's a good time to update anything like the waste bylaw to the actual practice of the day. Any further comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
What's that? Oh, sorry, that was me, didn't come up. My apologies. Six F, water disruption policy. Be it so resolved, the water disruption policy be adopted as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hillier. Councillor Connors will second everything if it makes it easier, whether he wants to or not.
Did I do that second one?
That's fine, yeah. That's fine with you, Councillor Connors? Yes. Okay, thank you.
He's good. What am I supposed, where are we?
Do you have any discussion on this matter? that you're
Water
bringing forward?
disruption policy, I believe this is a new policy. And this just outlines if there's any reason to have, for developers or any construction work or whatever, to have a scheduled water disruption, there is a policy around it now. 7 days notice, and it clearly outlines within, so residents know what to expect if there's going to be a water disruption.
And we provide it to the developers or people that may be causing some sort of interruption so that they
Yep.
know what to do and how to notify people, for sure. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Carried.
And the last item, 6G, is traffic disruption policy. This used to be called a road closure policy. So this has been amended to include road closures, but is not limited to that. Any type of traffic disruption for whatever reason, construction, development, whatever, this is a policy. So I've got ahead of myself now explaining it before I bring it forward. Be it so resolved that the traffic disruption policy be adopted as presented. So moved.
Councillor Hillier, you want to, yeah, okay, good. Councillor Hillier is going to second that one. Okay. Any discussion on this one? Any further discussion on this one? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you.
And that's it for finance and administration. Thank you, Mayor Bent.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Goss. Next up, planning and development. Is this, Councillor Tilley, is this you? Yep, please.
Thank you, Worship. We have 3 recommendations for planning and development.
Excuse me. So the first item that you have here, I declared a conflict in the committee meeting. The company with which I'm a shareholder is the applicant on this file.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Councillor Hilly before you, and I'm not sure where to bring this up. We have a delegation here from the Redbridge Road area tonight, and a resident just came up and asked me, and I'm not sure where this fits into how it works. is if we could have a public consultation on this before we approve or before we vote on it. They were hoping to be able to speak here tonight, but I told them they're not allowed to speak at a public meeting, and they want to know if we can host a public consultation on it.
We did have a public, open for public comment earlier on. I believe we did get some feedback, and I know that Councillor Tilley tabled a petition a couple of weeks ago. I think that the only way that we could have a meeting with residents would be is if somebody wanted to, and if council agreed to defer the recommendation this evening. It would be probably the only way that could happen. I'll ask for guidance on that, Chief, but yeah, that's the only way that could happen. So if somebody moved it, it got a seconder and got approved, we could defer it. And if councilors wanted to meet with residents or make themselves available to meet with residents, then we could do that. If council chose to do that, there's no requirement, of course, at this point because we're at the 11th hour. I'm sorry. Ask you to wait on that. So I'll leave it to council if that's what you want to do.
Seeing that they asked me, I will move it, and if council want to go along with it, I'll get it on the table.
No,
Okay.
do we have to make the motion and get a second for discussion first?
I probably do, yep. So why don't you make your motion, or whoever's making the motion? Yep.
I think if it's a motion to defer, it has the.
Yeah, I
motion
think
defer,
we
it
have
has
to have the
go forward.
motion, I think we have to have the motion moved and seconded before we can defer it. Is that correct?
No, I think it's the other way around.
Is it? Defer it first? Yeah. Yeah, we're just check with that. I apologize, Councillor Connors. Our town clerk is not with us tonight and usually has these answers right on the tip of her tongue, so. But we'll do it first or after, one or the other. Let's see if we can do it right.
Mayor Ben, just to confirm though, this is the recommendation about a quarry that's just being renamed, correct? It's not a new quarry, this one that we're about, that's in, that Councillor Connors just brought up, correct?
That's correct.
It's just changing the name of the permit holder.
Yep.
It is.
Okay, so we need to have the motion read, seconded, and then someone can move an amendment to defer.
Okay, so I'll continue. Item A, 203A Redbridge Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with sections 10.7, 10.27, and 3.16 of the town's development regulations, and notwithstanding the nonconformity with section 10.27.5 of the town's development regulations, application number COM-24-141, proposing to continue operation of an existing quarry at 203A Redbridge Road be approved as the continuation of the quarry use would not increase the nonconformity. So moved.
We have a seconder. Councillor Moores.
So is this where I
This
come?
will be your turn, Councillor Connors.
So residents have asked us to defer this so it can be a public consultation on it with residents of Redbridge Road. So I will move a deferral, but I guess it will be up to council if they want to defer it.
Do we have a seconder to defer? Then the amendment fails, Councillor Connors. We'll move on with the motion as it stands. Okay. We have a motion before the floor. Does anybody want to speak to it?
Yes, Your Worship. On February 4th, I presented a petition on behalf of the residents of Redbridge Road and I guess all the streets, side roads, I guess adjacent to Redbridge Road, and they expressed a lot of concern with with the proposed application. And just to touch upon a few, there was multiple reasons why they didn't think it was a good fit for the area. Heavy equipment on I guess, a highly residential road, dust, noise, pollution, impacts from runoff, especially to the Kelligrews River. But one of the big things that concerns me the most is and of course everyone is aware, I guess the Sargent's Recreation Complex. It's our biggest recreation facility in the town, housing our soccer field, softball diamond, dog park, and the rugby field. And of course, we receive a ton of people there every year, especially in the summer months. And my biggest concern is the lack of sidewalks in that area. And I could probably have a different stance on this if there were sidewalks in that area. But right now, as it currently sits, I'm not in favor of this application. I'll be voting no.
Anyone else want to speak to this motion? No? Yes?
I'm going to speak to it
Thank you.
because I'm in a bit of a conflicting here tonight. As Councillor Moores has just pointed out, this is a changing ownership, or not ownership, a family-owned business where a director on one company is a director of another company, and they just want to move it to that second company because the original business, the gentleman is getting older and the business is probably going to cease. So it's just moving this. It's not a new quarry. I did some work and it's been said that there's 3 or 4 quarries in there now. There's only one permitted quarry at the end of Redbridge Road now. This is the last one. Has a useful life of 5 to 7 years. And so I will be supporting this tonight because I think that it's just a change of ownership. And there's no increased activity. There are concerns that residents have raised. I totally agree with. And what Councillor Tilley just said, I totally agree with. We need to improve the safety of the road, of Redbridge Road, in around the ball field for the residents going in and out the road. But I think that's different than the ownership of the quarry. So I'm supporting this change here tonight because it's not a new quarry.
Would anyone else like to speak to this?
Yes, Your Worship. This is the, excuse me, this is the third quarry that we dealt with in probably as many meetings. One of them was for a new quarry on Redbridge Road that we turned down for obvious reasons. There's no room for more traffic on Redbridge Road. And as long as I'm in this seat, I will not be voting for a new quarry on Redbridge Road. The other one was a quarry that changed the name of its ownership, which is exactly what we've got here tonight. And we approved that one in Seal Cove. And this evening, we're dealing with one again that's just changing the name. There's no extra traffic. There's no change in the use. And as a result, I'll be supporting it.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Anyone else before we go to a vote? Going once, going twice, going through? Yep.
Can I make one more comment?
It's not in the rules, Councillor Connors. You
I
get
just
one
wanted-
go.
As long as I'm in this chair, I'll never vote for another quarry to go in Redbridge Road
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. I think that the council has been clear on that in turning down the last new application. And I hope that there's consistency going forward with councils in the future to say that whatever's happening now is the end of whatever's happening now. And, I understand that there is concerns about safety on the road. And I said last meeting, and I'll say it again, I think that there is an onus on council to make safety on Redbridge Road a priority because, and we had already, some 3 years ago, I believe, when we first got elected, decided that we would try to enhance any area where we are directing people for community use. And Nugent's Park would be the exact same thing, if not, maybe should have been done earlier. And I'd be happy to support, a look at sidewalks or anything else that we can do in Red Bridge Road to make it more safe going forward. But I do that with the idea that there is heavy equipment on most every road in town at some point or other. And we have an obligation as a community to make sure that our roads are able to do that and are able to, we're able to not as much ensure, but certainly enhance safety where we can. We can't ensure it because we can't get behind the wheel of every vehicle that goes through town. However, we can set that standard, and we did it with school zones, 30 kilometers an hour in school zones. And I know that there's people that don't pay any attention to that, but I know there's a lot of people that do. And it's heartening to see that when I go through school zones at around 30 kilometers an hour that people are doing that, and they see it, or they see it when they do it. The other thing that I want to say about this is that blasting, and blasting has been a concern of mine in the past, and I know we've had issues up in Ward 1 when I was the councillor up there with regards to, unknown blasting happening and everybody wondering why their house is rattling. And I understand that we can make that or will be making that a condition of the permit, that there's proper notice given to residents with regards to any blasting that may happen. Although I understand that there hasn't been blasting up in there in a couple of years or more, and it doesn't happen very frequently. But when it does, we want to make sure that the local residents are aware when it's going to happen. And the best we can, of course, because blasting is weather dependent a lot of times and can move and change, but still, it's something that we want to ensure that the residents are well aware of before it happens. But we do have an obligation, and I think the council has to look very seriously at enhancing Red Bridge Road, especially in the area getting close to the dirt road up there and the Nugent's Park and so forth, to make it easier. I know in the summertime, people tend to park on both sides of the road up at near the end. They have to put barricades on one side of the road so that people can get through. Otherwise, you wouldn't get a car up the middle down in that area. That needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed so that we don't have to depend on barricades in the summer. And that should be an obligation of council going forward. Anyway, anybody that has not spoken has the opportunity to speak if they want to. Otherwise, I'll call for a vote. All right. All in favor? Contrary minded? One nay. Carried. Councillor Tilley.
Next item, 8B, disposal of town land and Maya Place. Be it so resolved that in accordance with Section 190 of the Towns and Local Service Districts Act, approximately 113 square meters of land at 16 Maya Place be sold to the adjacent property owner for economic development purposes. So moved.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Butler, discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, this is a piece of property that the town purchased back in, I believe it was 2017, for a right-of-way to the trailway, and we no longer require that piece of property, so we sold it to the adjacent property owner.
We're going to sell it to the adjacent property owner. Okay.
Sell it, sorry.
Anybody else have any comments on this one? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
I think you got to vote. Okay. 8C, rezoning 961 and 963, Conception Bay Highway. Be it so resolved that under authority of Section 23 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, the Town Council of Conception Bay South approves the Conception Bay South Municipal Plan Amendment Number 37, 2024, and Development Regulations Amendment Number 59, 2024, as adopted. So moved.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Hillier, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, the applicant wanted to move his business to a certain area, and of course, it didn't meet the zoning requirements, so he went through the process of a public rezoning process, and of course, this is the final stage, so we're ready to approve the zoning.
Any other
Rezoning,
comments?
sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
No, we're ready to approve the rezoning. I said zoning, but rezoning, I meant to say.
Yes, okay. Any other comments on the rezoning? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And that's it for planning and development.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley. Going down to procurement. Who is procurement this evening? Councillor Tilley. Carry on, sir.
Under procurement, we have one item.
Excuse me, I'm going to declare conflict here because of the working relationship, business relationship with Eric Taylor Limited.
Thank
I'm
you.
also going to declare conflict as I have family members who work with the company as well.
Thank you.
Item 11A, approval to award USM removal. Be it so resolved that approval be given to award unsuitable material removal from town property to Eric Taylor Limited at a cost of $33,333 plus HST. Funds are to be taken from the so noted account. So moved.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Butler. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
There's stuff popping up on the screen. It's crazy.
And we have an order tonight. Who is doing orders?
I think I knew that one too.
Are you now?
Yep.
Okay.
Unless anybody else wants to do it.
Councillor Tilley, do everything night. Okay, you go ahead.
Rescind order number 32A Flats Road. Be it so resolved that the order issued on December 4th, 2024, under the Municipalities Act 1999 and the Town of Conception Bay South Waste Disposal and Property Regulations, ordering the property owner to remove an inoperable boat and a rusty chassis situated at the property located at 32A Flats Road, Conception Bay South, be rescinded. So moved.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Moores, discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, I believe that the property owner has removed the said debris, and we're ready to rescind the order.
Very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you, Councillor Tilley. That's the agenda for this evening. Yes, Councillor Hardy?
Working now? Okay. Just wanted to let the public know that there's going to be a public notice going out this evening for the pedestrian activated crosswalk that's currently out of order. Due to the unexpected damage to the traffic light pole, the pedestrian activated crosswalk west of Manuel's River is temporarily out of service. The replacement of the infrastructure and reinstallation of the flashing lights is expected to take several months. The pedestrian crosswalk remains, however, the flashing lights will not be operational. So for added safety, a pedestrian underpass is available as an alternative to the crossing the road directly. So we appreciate everyone's understanding, but there will be a public notice going out shortly. Just want to let everyone know.
Thank you, Councillor Hardy. And of course, these poles are manufactured specific to location and specific to design, so they're just not sitting on a shelf anywhere, unfortunately. So hopefully that'll happen sooner rather than later. I urge everyone to use caution when crossing in that area, and if you can go under, please go under. Thank you. That is our agenda for this evening, so we'll be back here in a week's time for our Committee of the Whole meeting on the 25th at, I'm going to say 4:30, and not used to it yet, and then back for our regular council on March already, the 4th, at 5:30. So I'll ask for a motion for adjournment. Moved by Councillor Butler, seconded by Councillor Barrett. All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Your Worship, are we meeting?